The Kravasi arena stood silent as Commander Thexlar dragged the small human child toward the center pit. Her name was Lisa, barely 8 solar cycles old by human standards, with tangled brown hair and dirt-smudged cheeks. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. The assembled Kravasi delegation found this unusual. "Behold," Thexlar announced to the gathered council, his 4 eyes gleaming with cruel satisfaction. "The specimen from Earth. Their defenders claimed humans were special, worthy of protection under galactic law." He gestured dismissively at the small girl. "I see only weak flesh." The Kravasi had been testing species for centuries. Those who survived their trials earned respect. Those who didn't became cautionary tales. When human diplomats had refused to surrender their mining rights to the Kravasi Empire, Thexlar had taken matters into his own hands. He'd raided a human colony ship, selected the smallest, weakest specimen he could find, and brought her here. To face Snowfang, the albino wolf stood 12 feet tall at the shoulder, bred over generations by the Kravasi for one purpose: execution. Its eyes glowed red in the arena's harsh lighting, saliva dripping from fangs as long as daggers. In 300 years, nothing had survived Snowfang for more than 40 seconds. Lisa looked up at the massive predator. Then she looked at the Kravasi surrounding the pit. Her voice came out small but steady. "My dad's gonna be really mad at you." Thexlar's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Your father Nick is dead, little human. His ship was destroyed when he tried to follow us." "Nuh-uh," Lisa said simply. The commander's patience evaporated. He activated the pit barrier and released Snowfang's restraints. The wolf moved like white lightning, covering the distance to Lisa in a single bound. Its jaws opened wide enough to swallow the child whole. The Kravasi leaned forward in anticipation. Lisa didn't run. Instead, she thrust her small hand forward and shouted a single word: "Sit!" The command came out with such unexpected authority that Snowfang actually hesitated mid-lunge, its massive paws skidding on the arena floor. It landed awkwardly just inches from Lisa, confusion evident in its glowing eyes. "Good boy," Lisa said, her voice softening. She slowly raised her hand. Paw. What happened next would be discussed in Galactic Council chambers for decades. The most fearsome predator in Kravasi history, the creature that had ended hundreds of lives, gently lifted its massive paw and placed it in the 8-year-old's tiny hand. "That's a good boy," Lisa repeated, carefully moving closer. "You're not mean. You're just lonely, aren't you?" Thexlar's throat membranes inflated in rage. "Kill her!" he screamed, activating the pain collars embedded in Snowfang's neck. The wolf yelped and staggered. Lisa's eyes went wide, then narrowed dangerously. "You're hurting him." She spotted the control device in Thexlar's grip. "Stop it!" When he didn't, Lisa did something that defied all Kravasi understanding of prey species. She charged, not away from the wolf, but toward the commander. Her small fist hammered against the energy barrier as Snowfang writhed in pain behind her. "Stop hurting him!" she screamed, tears streaming down her face now. "He's a good boy. He doesn't want to hurt anybody." The arena had fallen completely silent. Even Thexlar stood frozen, his finger hovering over the pain button. He'd seen fear before. He'd seen defiance. But this protective fury from something so small and helpless. A new sound echoed through the arena. Metal screaming, walls buckling. "I told you my dad would be mad," Lisa said quietly. The arena's ceiling exploded inward. A human battlecruiser, the Determination, impossibly present despite being destroyed, hung in the gap like an avenging angel. Its weapons were already hot. Nick's voice boomed through every speaker in the facility. "You have 10 seconds to step away from my daughter." Thexlar reached for his weapon. He never completed the motion. A precision strike from the Determination vaporized the control device in his hand. Another disabled every weapon in the arena. A third eliminated the pit barriers. Lisa immediately ran back to Snowfang, who had collapsed to the floor. She wrapped her arms around the massive wolf's neck, ignoring the very real danger it still posed. "It's okay," she whispered. "You're safe now." Snowfang, for the first time in its brutal existence, felt something other than rage and pain. The creature that had been engineered to kill, that had known only cruelty from its Kravasi masters, carefully curled its massive body around the tiny human who had shown it kindness. Nick materialized in the arena via emergency transport. rifle raised, flanked by a dozen human Marines. His eyes scanned his daughter, then the wolf protecting her, then settled on Thexlar with an expression that made the commander's thermal regulatory system fail. "Daddy," Lisa called out. "Can we keep him, please?" "They were mean to him." Nick's tactical assessment took approximately 2 seconds. Daughter, safe. Threat neutralized. Giant murder wolf somehow now a pet. He lowered his rifle and spoke into his comm. "Medical team to the arena. Prepare veterinary protocols. We're bringing home a..." He paused, looking at the massive predator. A very large dog. Thexlar finally found his voice. "You cannot take Snowfang. He is Krivasi property bred for cruelty," Nick interrupted coldly. "I'm taking him under Galactic protection laws. You tortured him. You tried to murder my daughter. And you're about to find out why humans don't have specimen protocols for children." He activated his comm again. "Admiral, relay to Galactic Council. Humanity formally requests enforcement action against the Krivasi Empire for crimes against sentient beings. Submit all arena footage as evidence." As human ships surrounded the facility and galactic enforcers began arriving via jump gate, Lisa sat in the arena with Snowfang's massive head in her lap, gently removing the pain collars from his neck. The wolf's red eyes had faded to a soft amber, and for the first time in its existence it slept peacefully. The Krivasi had meant to prove humans were weak. Instead, they learned a far more terrifying truth. Humans didn't just protect their own. They protected anything they deemed worthy of protection, and they had a peculiar talent for turning enemies into friends, monsters into companions, and arenas of death into rescue missions. Snowfang would live out his days on a human agricultural world, where he became a gentle guardian to an entire community of children. And the Krivasi Empire learned to never ever underestimate a species that measured strength, not by the ability to destroy, but by the courage to show mercy, especially when that species had 8-year-olds with more backbone than most galactic warriors.